will.
So what?
I have it next to
Stand there.
Oh, you took that?
Yep.
There you go.
Oh, not that.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hi, everyone. Did you have the baby chair?
We did.
And that was both.
Okay. Our first item on the agenda is public comment. We're going to receive oral communications from members of the public. Members of the public may address the select board for up to 3 minutes, longer with the permission of the chair. The select board shall not engage in discussion on topics raised during public comment, but may choose to add the topic to a future agenda. This agenda segment will be limited to 15 minutes unless extended at the discretion of the chair. Do we have any public comment tonight? Okay, moving right along. Grants, gifts, and donations. We have approval on behalf of the Council on Aging to accept a donation. We have 40, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row, and if it's okay with the board, I'll read them off and we'll take them as one vote. Is that okay with the board?
Yes.
Okay. So we have approval, these are all for Council on Aging. We have a donation of $40 from Bob and Sheila Haynes. We have a donation of $15 from June Rogan. We have a donation of $500 from Kathy and Sean Malone. We have a donation of $30 from Mary Gill. We have a donation of $25 from Josephine Cohen, and a donation of $100 from Jeanette Isabella. Can I
Make a
have-
motion to accept all the donations that were read for the Council on Aging.
You missed, I'm sorry, the last one's the police department.
I did the same thing.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next one, thank you, everyone. The next one, we have an approval on behalf of the police department to accept a donation of $250 from Alan and Tracy Lamport.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this one? Okay. I'd like to thank all of our,
Vote.
all in favor? Aye. I would like to thank all of our donors for the town of Newbury. Thank you. Okay, under new business, we have Cultural Council Plans 2025, presented by Ryan Kelly. And I know Ryan is here. Hi, Ryan. Come on up.
Ryan Kelly, 24 School Street.
And you're on the Cultural Council,
I
right?
am on the Cultural Council. I would like to wish everybody a Happy New Year and say on behalf of the Cultural Council that we, as the Newbury Cultural Council, are proposing to bring back a scaled-down version of Newbury Town Day on August 16th. As an 8-member appointed committee by the town, we will be managing the event. We would like to use the Central Street Fields grounds and building pending approval from the rec committee. We are planning to have open artist studios, music and cultural performances, food and beverages, sports and games, and children and family activities. We are looking for approval, endorsement, and support of the event and any help to connect with the rec committee and any other local resources to help with the community event. We are also looking for funding from the town's celebration account as it has supported our mission in the past. We don't have a final budget yet, but we are working hard to pull numbers and plans together over the coming months. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to working together with our town resources to have a fantastic community event.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know we do have a small budget for celebrations. There are some items that do come out of that. There's the flags, I think, that come out of that.
For Memorial Day.
Memorial Day. But we absolutely can earmark some for this. I want to thank the Council on Aging for taking this. The Council on Aging. The Cultural Council on taking this back. I know it started with you guys, and then it kind of evolved and morphed into its own little thing, and then it kind of fizzled out and died. And now you're bringing it back, and I really am appreciative of you guys. I think you'll breathe new life into it. I'm really looking forward to it. Is there any questions or?
Is there a committee for the Newbury Town Day, or is it falling under the cultural councilors?
It's gonna come under the cultural council.
committee.
They're
So-
gonna pick it
So
up.
there's, we're not gonna do it, cause I know we talked about the financing, you know, cause when we used to do the Newburytown Day, the budgeting aspects of it, are we gonna have, so you guys have, the cultural council has an account, you know,
The cultural council has their own grant money that they can decide to spend, award some of their grant money. I wouldn't award all of it. They have,
So, yeah, so we're not gonna be
Why don't you
using
come
the,
up, Ryan?
yeah, sorry, I shouldn't have walked away.
yeah, that's okay.
I'm new. So we, as the 8-person cultural council, that will be the committee. We're not bringing in different community members, and so we'll just have that, and then we have our own, like, we're not using the state funding for the cultural council. We're not allowed to only use a certain percentage of that for anything like this. So we'll just be doing any sponsorships and fundraising and kind of doing everything as cost effectively as possible. It's not gonna deal with anything from the state granted funds. Those go to the nonprofits that we give it to.
Okay. So there's a small, the town of Newbury has a small line item in our budget of
right, yeah, I'm
$5,000
aware of that.
for that. So that's the one that they would,
Do we have any money left over from 2 years ago?
It all went to the food pantry.
It all went to the, that's right, it all went to the food pantry, okay? Thank you for doing this.
Oh, yeah.
$5,000 budget.
So Ryan.
Yep.
The grants you get from the state,
Yep.
you can only use a certain percentage of it for this event?
No, so it's not earmarked for any kind of event. So when you get money from the state, there's a little bit that you can always keep behind to help with administration, to help with fundraising or anything like that. Some cultural councils will actually fundraise and get even more additional money to put towards that, or host local cultural events. So we put almost all the money towards the people that apply to grants. We had like 27 different people that applied this year, and like 19 of them get it. So
It's-
the
that's my
money for that would be that.
That's my second question.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, some of the grants the Cultural Accounts Committee gives is to other towns,
What do you mean by that?
other activities in other towns. You support
We-
events in other towns.
Depending on the reach of that event, we prioritize as much like hypersensitive events. There's actually an entire list of kind of categories of things we look for when we apply for
No,
grants
I
and
mean,
when we give
I
them.
acknowledge an event in Newburyport might help culturally people in
Right.
Newbury to participate.
Yeah, we
town.
most of the ones that get denied are like it's in Winchester or it's in Salem or something like that, cause there's so many local cultural councils. We as a board of the 8 of us, we actually were where you're sitting like 2 months ago, and we purposefully choose just the events that are like as hyper local as possible. Yeah, Newburyport will get something, maybe Georgetown, but we really focus on Newbury.
Cultural grants to Newbury most likely go to the Council on Aging and maybe Byfield Community Arts Center.
I'd have to look through the entire list, I forget out of the, 20 of them or something, but.
You know what, let me help, Brian.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Robin Lawson, 9 Linway Road, I'm chair of the Cultural Council. The grants for 2025, there were 15 of them that we approved. We prioritize, as Ryan just said, events like library passes to Strawberry Bank for residents. And this year, the Council on Aging programs, the Council on Aging requests. Doesn't go to the Council on Aging, it goes to the
A program, yeah, I'm aware
program,
of that.
exactly. We also fund other requests as appropriate that benefit the residents of Newbury. For instance, the best example I can think of is the Newburyport Choral Society. Newbury people attend, Newbury people participate. Also, it's important to note that other local cultural councils will also fund Newbury events. It's all, we all appreciate the importance of cultural events within one town that affect or benefit others. Does that help?
Sure, so what you're saying is our Council on Aging may have or is getting grants from other towns?
Probably not the Council on Aging,
Probably not.
not the Council
Yeah,
on Aging.
that's more specific.
No, the Council on Aging, the library, they will apply only to the
Only to
Newbury
you.
Cultural Council.
Only to you.
Yeah, but other,
I was just thinking, this is such a local event that charity begins at home.
well, to tell you the truth, as Ryan said, we can hold back, we, the Cultural Council, can hold back a percentage of the Massachusetts Cultural Council grant for our local events. We just funded 2025 events. In the past, there have been, actually, frankly, there have been really minimal expenses generated by Newburytown Day. It's mostly website, signage, you know, the little signs, it's not a lot of money. But in the past, because the town has funded Newburytown Day, we kind of assumed that the same would happen. We were not aware of the fact that, we knew that there was a $5,000 account, and I still get the emails from Eva Pastor and Ann with reports on what's been spent. But I actually, quite honestly, was not aware of the fact that the money had been spent for fiscal year 2025. So we were kind of banking, we meaning the Cultural Council, were expecting that there would be town support for Newburytown Day because there has in the past. Am I making sense?
Sure.
That's okay. And this is FY 26 too, we're talking about. But anyway, it's not a lot of money. And so what, as Ryan just said, the plan is that once we start formulating plans, and we're doing this step by step. So first we needed to decide what we was gonna do, how we were gonna do it, who was going to manage it. Then we were going to make a presentation to the select board, and so that's where we are. So, pending approval, now we have a meeting on the 27th, and we will go back and flesh out the plans, and then we'll be in a much better position to present a budget. But as Ryan just said, and you can take it back from here, Ryan, go ahead. I am not the boss of this.
Do you wanna finish your thought, or am I supposed to interject halfway through this?
Okay, good point.
Not on my end.
What would Judge Judy say?
Yeah,
I can't think for you.
no, you can't think for me.
I tried
You
really
don't
hard.
know exactly what I was gonna
I
say.
have some colorful language.
Now, I forgot what I was gonna say, but, no, Ryan just said that, yeah, if he'd read my mind, he would have known that what I was about to say is he said there are other possible ways to raise funds. Besides, if it turns out that the town it's the budget's tight, we can figure out ways to raise funds, and as I said, we're not talking about, thousands of dollars.
Thank you both immensely for what you do and what the Cultural
Yeah.
Council does for the town of Newbury.
Yeah, our pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
We think it's.
So
fun,
your
right?
next step,
And we have another member here too,
Yes, Mary.
Mary Carlo, she's also a member of the Cultural Council, and there are
Mary,
8 of us.
thank you. Thank you
There
for coming.
are 8 of us now, by the way.
Yeah, I know, bravo.
Awesome.
It's great.
Your next step is you wanna get on the agenda of the rec committee.
Yeah, we wanna discuss with them, just making sure that
The date
the
is
date is
clear.
available
Yeah.
and any stipulations
So I'm
with
gonna
that.
ask Joy, is our assistant town administrator, if
Nice
she
to
would
meet you, Joy.
reach out to the chair of the rec committee, David Broll, and copy Ryan.
Yep.
To ask him to be put on their agenda whenever their next, they usually meet the first Monday of the month,
I remember Mr. Volpone saying that, yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
so,
Roger that. And you got it.
thank you.
One more question, is this gonna be restricted to just Central Fields, or are we gonna do is it gonna be like the old days?
No, so we're purposely trying to keep it really focused on one area. We've decided that Central Street Fields, with the fact that it has the building on it, it has the parking lot, it has the field, it has now the pickleball court and everything. Looking back, and I'm like obviously a new member, so there's a lot of other new members that came in that didn't have the experience that Robin and Heidi had, so they, with sharing and going through the statistics and everything from the last events, we really wanted to hyper focus on one location, execute it well, scale down, kind of like I said earlier, and just be super successful with this, and then we can always maybe
Grow.
go from there, but we wanted to really just focus on like the key things in one spot.
Well done.
Good strategy.
Yeah, thank
I
you
think
guys.
that's a good place to start.
Yeah, and it's the most accommodating, we don't have to worry about, parking super easy, that's the one thing about the upper green is it's like really tough with one there, so. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Spencer Little.
I don't know why it would happen with Spencer Little. I don't think it's gonna work anymore there. I think it's too complicated to host something there now.
Well, the town of Newbury owns the property over at Central Street, so,
Right, and it's a little more closer to some people over here as well. Beautiful.
thank you.
I would like to add one more thing.
Thank you, Ryan. I just wanted to, for Joy's benefit and everybody's benefit, we have a new email address now.
Okay.
Thanks to John Temple. It's cultural.council@townofnewbury.org.
Finally.
Thank you.
Finally.
Okay,
Some could change.
Thank you, guys.
well done, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So next we have review and approval of the 2025 annual entertainment license renewal for the Sunset Club at 4 Old Point Road. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Bo.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have a request by the police department for declaration as surplus of 2018 Ford Explorer utility, color black, VIN, 1FM 5K8 AR 7JG C17755.
Motion to declare surplus the 2018 Ford Explorer utility.
Second.
Discussion.
I'm just curious, how many miles are on that one?
Says right on the
It's
form.
on the letter.
Yeah,
Oh, on the one you submitted.
in your packet,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
$116,810 miles. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I have a finance, all right, so the finance committee appointment to the capital planning committee. Joseph Ali had requested for the capital planning committee. This is, with the select board doesn't appoint these members. If you recall, we petitioned the state legislature to change our, I think it was the act, so that finance committee members could appoint other members to the capital planning committee. So the select board appoints 2 members, the town administrator sits that as per the act, so she sits on it, we appointed 2, and now the finance committee has to appoint 2. The finance committee indicated that Joseph Ali was willing to sit on that, that's as of right now. They have to appoint 1 other, but we do not require a vote on this, so I'm just not gonna ask for a vote,
Tracy,
but that's,
did you have a second name from Erica?
Richard Keys has also
Richard Keys.
offered to serve on that committee as well.
okay.
Yep.
So we may have two members, we'll have to wait and see how that goes, but we're not the appointing authority on that, the finance committee is. Okay, next I have review and approve 2025 business license renewals. Now, there are a lot of these. Is everybody okay with me reading them and we'll take one vote at the end? And if there's any one that you want to put a hold on it, just say hold and I'll mark it and we'll come back to it. Is the board okay with that
Yes.
approach? Jeff, are you okay with that? Dana?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Okay. So, I will, what I'll do is I'll entertain a motion to approve the following business licenses. I think that's what they are. Yeah, business licenses, and then I'll take the motion in the second after I read them all as one. Okay, so just put a hold on them if you decide to. Animal care, Pamela Doherty, the beach dog daycare at 96 Newburyport Turnpike. There's an auto marine, auto repair and sales of related items, Stephen Andriotola. Wow, my Italian's not coming out. Steve Service at 52 Main Street. Auto marine and sales storage of boats, marine supplies and gasoline, David and John Moulton, Riverfront Marine Sports at 292 High Road. Auto marine and gasoline, car repair, sale of related goods, Nasser Abu Aid, AL Prime Energy Consulting at 17 Central Street. Auto Marine, Randall Bandoian, trustee, Old Newbury Boat Club at 84 Newburyport Turnpike. And Auto Marine, Andrew Haley, Parker River Marine Services at 7 Newbury Neck Road. Auto Marine, Jody Wilkinson, Wilco Marine Restorations at 84 Newburyport Turnpike. There's an Auto Marine subject to the restrictions and conditions of the special permit issued on 2/26/86 and the variance issued on 11/17/94 by the Newbury Zoning Board of Appeals for the property at 24 Middle Road. Barry Davis, BD Automotive at 24 Middle Road. There's also an Auto Marine subject to the restrictions and conditions of the special permit issued on 2/26/86 and the decision of the Zoning Board of Appeals for 8/6/99 for the property at 24 Middle Road. William Kosky, Bill's Auto Repair at 24 Middle Road. There's an auto repair, Gary Macheros, Applied Automotive Technology Incorporated at 101 Newburyport Turnpike, units 4 to 5. Gary Machero, Angie Service at 101 Newburyport Turnpike, again, unit 405. Common Victualler, James Sullivan, Rusty Can at 6G Fruit Street. Common Victualler, Danvers Butchery, Cheryl Bolton, DBA Newbury Butchery at 2 Morgan Ave. Common Victualler, Kim Sue Delibero and Brad Delibero with the Riptide Cafe and Bar at 23 Plum Island Boulevard. Common Victualler, Sarah Van Golden, Manager, Adlinrude Conference and Retreat Center at 46 Elm Street. Common Victualler, Hank Moore, Treasurer, Old Newbury Golf Club at 319 Newburyport Turnpike. Common Victualler, Jim Sullivan, Wyatt's Market at 60 Fruit Street. Common Victualler, Savannowitz Family Associate Incorporated, Main Street, Mini Mart, and D&J Liquors at 53 Main Street. Common Victualler and Inn, Ryan Guthrie, Brendan Guthrie, Blue Inn on the Beach at 20 Fordham Way. Common Victualler and Parking Lot, Ron Barrett, Plum Island Taxpayers Association at 8 Plum Island
Can I
Boulevard.
put a hold on that one?
Yep.
And I just wanna have a short discussion
Yeah,
about it.
absolutely.
That's all.
Thank you. Crafts, Gifts, Gail Gandolfini, no. Gandolfi, thank you. G&G Antiques at 160 Hay Street. Dog Grooming, Brittany Charles, Water Dog Grooming at 94 Newburyport Turnpike, Unit 7A. Farm Products, Feed and Related Items, Don Del Torchio, Hightail Acres at 120 High Road. General Coach Consultant, Alana Matsy's Dunn, Flippin' Out Enterprises at 109 High Road. General Business, Sharon Pearson, Pearson Hardware at 6A Fruit Street. General Business, Richard Samuelson, Bridge Road Signs at 9 Graham Ave. General Business, Vivian Anastasia Harton, Anastasia's Flowers on Main at 56 Main Street. General Business, Neil Dietz and Edward Lynch Jr., Dietz and Lynch Capital at 28 Green Street. General Business, John Gallant, J. Gallant Pool and Spa at 96 Newburyport Turnpike. General Business, Lynn DeShane, The Access Clinic for Wellness at 19 Central Street, Suite C. General Business, Henry C. Becker Custom Building, LTD at 8 Riverview Drive. General Business, Alicia Catalano and Brenda Catalano, Music with Alicia at 89 Hanover Street, Unit 1. General Business, Robin Davies, Parker River Dental, 3 Kent Way. General Business, Education, Christine and Doug Roop, Harmony Natural Learning Center at 6769 Newburyport Turnpike. General Business, Horticultural Services, Molly Janicki at 191 High Road. General Business, Beauty Shop, Linda Gamache, Sadie's for Hair at 6J Fruit Street. General Business, Beauty Shop, Madeline Sherwood, Circle Salon at 65 Newburyport Turnpike. General Business, Health and Wellness, Elizabeth Michael Houlihan, Roots to Wings at 76 Newburyport Turnpike. General Business, Personal Training, Fit by John, care of John, somebody help me? Demerol at 89 Hanover Street, Unit 3. General Business, Self-Storage, William DeFrancesco, Stowaway Storage, doing business as Newbury Self-Storage at 131 Newburyport Turnpike. General Business, Tree Service, Stephen J. Keyville, SK Tree Service at 71 Main Street. General Business Vehicle Transport, Ronald Barrett, Barrett Transportation at 18 Hutchins Road. General Business School Bus Transportation, Stephen Gadd, Salter Transportation at 196 Scotland Road. General Business Retail Package Store, Jeffrey Christensen, Plum Island Fine Wine and Spirits, DBA The Cottage Wine and Spirits at 14 Plum Island Boulevard. General Business Surf, Paddle, Kayak, Skate Sales and Rentals, Jeff Christensen, PI Rentals, LLC, DBA The Cottage at 14 Plum Island Boulevard. General Business Towing Service, Michael A. Volpone, Treasurer Clerk, Volpone Towing Service at 86R Newburyport Turnpike. General Business Auto Marine Gasoline Sales, Automotive Repair, Sales of Related Goods, Mohammed Almadani, Ampet Inc. at 34 High Road. Motor Vehicle Junk License, Class 3, Newbury Auto Sales, James Motzkin at 60 Newburyport Turnpike. Parking Lot 77 Southern Boulevard, Ryan Guthrie, Brendan Guthrie, Blue Inn on the Beach at 20 Fordham Way. Parking Lot 11 Fordham Way, Ryan Guthrie, Brendan Guthrie, Blue, the Inn on the Beach at 20 Fordham Way. Parking Lot Carla Capalupo at 26 Plum Island Boulevard. Parking Lot Jeffrey Christensen, Plum Island Fine Wines and Spirits, DBA Cottage Wine and Spirits at 14 Plum Island Boulevard. Parking Lot David Williamson, Plum Island Enterprises at 3 Northern Boulevard. Parking Lot Cooler Full of Water, Thomas Ryan, Plum Island Beach Walk LLC at 49 Northern Boulevard. Retail Foods, Common Victualler and Crafts, J.R. Colby and Elizabeth Knight, Common Pastures LLC, doing business as Colby Farm at 50 Scotland Road. Salon Spa, Kaylee Leary, Wicked Wax and Skin LLC at 65 Newburyport Turnpike. A tattoo shop, Katie L. Smith, Local Eclipse Tattoo at 65 Newburyport Turnpike. Another tattoo shop, Elise Guy, Boston Born Inc. at 65 Newburyport Turnpike. And another tattoo shop, Tessa Javrink at 65 Newburyport Turnpike. There's a used car dealer's license, Class 2, Ampet Mohammed Almadani at 34 High Road, online sales only. Used car dealer's license, Class 2, A&M Motors, Anthony Barbaras at 4 to 6 Newburyport Turnpike. Used car dealer's license, Class 2, Angie Service at 101 Newburyport Turnpike, Units 4 and 5. Used car dealer's license, Class 2, Auto Works of Hampton Falls, Michael Tartaglione at 88 Newburyport Turnpike. Used car dealer's license, Class 2, Carnova LLC, Douglas Machado at 86 Newburyport Turnpike. Used car license, Class 2, Jayden Auto, Jeremy Cohane at 6 Newburyport Turnpike. Used car dealer's license, Class 2, Randall Bandoian, trustee, Offshore Concepts Conservation Trust, doing business as US number 1 Auto and Marine at 84 Newburyport Turnpike. And a used car dealer's license, Class 2, Steve Service, Stephen Androletta at 52 Main Street. So I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
Motion to approve those.
Is there a second?
Except for
No, second, and then discussion.
second.
Okay, Dana seconded. Discussion. Dana, you put a hold on
Yeah.
common victualler in parking lot.
Pitta Hall. Basically, it's Ronnie at Pitta Hall.
Yeah.
And Ron reached out to me, and they're trying to get their schedule together for 2025, and he would like, and obviously, everything will go through Tracy, he would like to get together with all of the department heads and committee folks. COA was one in particular, to try and get the entire, his annual schedule together for Pitta Hall. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm sure he may move forward with you to try and get the folks down there at some point in time, and,
Sure, have him give me a call. I'm happy to set something up.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's an interesting conversation because I know that Ron Barrett spoke to someone at the Council on Aging who asked to use Peter Hall on St. Patrick's Day, their St. Patrick's Day event, which they will publish in their bulletin to press this Friday. And Ron said he would not commit until that person who works for a director, organized this meeting. And Ron was asked, why don't you deal directly with Tracy? I can't organize a meeting of the directors in
Well,
Newbury.
that was my advice to him also.
And Ron seemed reluctant, to the extent he spent an hour with him last night discussing the same topic. So it's kind of conditional. I'll think about it as long as you set up this meeting. I have no objection to a business license for Peter Hall. I think it's wonderful that he lets the Council on Aging use it for these events, at no cost, by the way. And it gives him good press when they say that they held the event at Peter Hall. But I don't think there's room for negotiation. I don't think the DPW stages events at Peter Hall. I'm not sure what the departments are gonna yield at this meeting for a schedule, other than Council on Aging.
As far as I'm aware of, the Council on Aging uses it periodically for their holiday events. The DPW, I think the only time they may use it is if they're out there plowing, they may use the bathroom, maybe. Police, I know.
We have our own bathroom now.
Well, there's another bathroom now, yeah, and there's that little annex. But during storm events, like back in 2013, I know when we had the problems with erosion and the houses tumbling into the sea, we did, Senator Bruce Tarr and representatives from the governor's office came and they asked to use it, but I don't think we haven't used it since then. I don't know if PD has.
So we do, first responders, we do use it in weather situations. We also use it when Mass DOT is going to do repairs or test the bridge. We put first responders and apparatus on the bridge just in case when they're testing the bridge, something go wrong, we have first responders on that side of the bridge. We use it as a warming station, as a place to gather. We have outdated radios that are down there as well that really could use a revamp if we needed them, but we haven't needed that room in years. The difference between Pitta Hall for us, and we've been grateful over the years to have it, in the new annex is the annex provides us confidentiality in conversations. Pitta Hall has the space to accommodate a larger number of first responders. So it wouldn't be uncommon during a storm between fire, medical, police, Newburyport and Newbury to have anywhere between, say, 4 and 10 first responders stationed on the island, depending the nature of the event. But, you know, for example, during February storms last year, we shared the space with a quinceanera. You know, so it's not exclusive, you know, to us when we're using it as a first responder. So whoever rented the hall, if they're keeping their event during a bad weather storm, they're just told like, hey, you might see some uniformed people hanging out in the kitchen getting warm, and that's what we do. We benefit greatly from their parking lot. We park a lot of apparatus there when we're waiting, because sometimes if we're having an oceanside event, Plum Island Center isn't available for us to kind of idle and take cars there, but that's how we have used it in the last number of years.
So my question, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
When you stage vehicles there
Mhm.
during a storm event,
Yes.
is that to benefit Peter Hall or is that to benefit the whole of Plum Island?
I view it as benefiting the whole of Plum Island. We are responding to, number one, it's the right thing to do for public safety, but I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the residents of Plum Island, you know, expect us to be down there, you know, in an event to make sure we have emergency response for all categories for both Newbury and Newburyport residents. Especially if we've got a high tide during a storm and we're gonna lose the turnpike, which has been happening more and more each season. So I would say our events, different from the Council on Aging events, which I know the COA director, she likes to hold events down there. We've participated in them because there are people from Plum Island who don't come to Byfield to do events here, so she likes to space them out. So there's a part of me that would even argue that is a mutually beneficial relationship. It's benefiting the taxpayers of Plum Island because we have a higher attendance of COA events when we do events down in Plum Island, and if they're providing the hall to the COA, you know, for free as well, well, then they get the good PR of hosting that event. So I'd argue that one's even mutually beneficial.
And
Patty,
we
help
also,
me out a little bit.
Yeah.
If the cause of this meeting is for scheduling purposes in 2025, I don't think that you can say, I need to use Peter Hall on February 25th, April 2nd, June 3rd,
No.
okay?
Yeah,
I
so-
can tell you that the council on.
He doesn't expect that from the police
What does he expect
Yeah,
of the
I
meeting?
don't know.
understand the purpose of the
I don't
meeting.
know.
I suggest that Ron contact Tracy himself,
I'm happy to,
okay,
Send it with him.
and iron this out. This has no bearing on us approving the business
Well,
license.
I'm
in
kind of
favor
wondering
that.
now if we should hold this building, is he asking you to hold approval of this license?
No,
Until this is happening? I don't know.
No.
I don't think that's appropriate.
Bringing this up at this moment was my idea.
Okay,
It was not, I just thought it would be an okay time to talk about it, cause I know it's something that's,
that's, okay, in the future, something like that, Dana, I think was better, I think the community is better served if that's taken administratively and not publicly, cause it looks as if, you know, I don't know what the purpose of this meeting is, but, you know, I think that it would be best for Peter Hall and for all of the residents if that conversation was taken offline.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, Patty.
thanks, Patty.
Thank you. Okay, so I think, are we any more discussion on this? Where did Jeff go?
He has a business license for his wife coming up.
Okay. Well, he hasn't voted for this one yet. So, okay, so we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Okay. All in favor on those business licenses, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Jeff recused himself, I believe, from this next one, because it's a general business license for Josette Walker. Josette's Ads and Loom at 173 High Road.
Motion to approve the license for Joseph Walker.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Selectman Walker can come back now.
had a good sleep.
You going to walk around? Excuse me. Okay, the next item on the agenda is an execution of a contract authorization. In accordance with General Laws, Chapter 41, Section 23A, to give the town administrator the power to execute contracts on behalf of the select board. I'll entertain a motion
Motion to accept.
to execute the
The
contract.
execution of contract authorization.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion on this. This is something that the town administrator has done for us for years. I think the last time the board voted on it was many years ago, and boards change. So it's almost like a best practice, as this board has changed, that we vote on it annually. Town council's advice is annually in January, because you may have a new board. Just vote it, and this way the whole board is aware of it, and it's just cleaner.
Isn't it more of awareness? That
Yes.
Out of necessity, town council said you don't have to do this to vote on it, but just as you said, for awareness.
The transparency
we vote on it.
and
Transparency.
yeah. Okay. Discussion?
Question.
Yep.
What contracts? Like, what?
all of them. Except for,
I understand the unions, all the.
Except for the.
no, you actually execute those. So with the exception of collective bargaining agreements and your appointees' contracts, pretty
chief,
much every
The
other,
chief, the fire chief, the police chief,
and mine.
and your, well, you sign yours, but not as us.
Right.
Yeah. So,
What about bids?
Yes,
So-
I, as the chief procurement officer, I execute those contracts.
So this, I could be wrong about this, but just as an example, I know that the law says, and correct me if I'm wrong, that anything over $25,000 that you're gonna accept as a bid, we are actually supposed to approve. However, we've given you the authority in the past
In the act,
not to have to do that.
Right.
So what I said is correct.
yep,
The Act 460 does that, right?
I believe so, yeah.
That's the act that town meeting passed.
Right, but I'm correct in saying that all of the contracts above $25,000, the board is supposed to approve, But-
I don't know that.
but we've
I don't
given
know.
you the authority to,
I believe the special act gives me the authority to execute on behalf, and in further,
have the act.
this vote provides that as well. I execute probably, I don't know, maybe 5 to 7 contracts a week, small things,
We don't usually sign them, but we begin here all week signing them. Let me see.
up to more significant projects, procurement projects.
can I keep
Yeah,
talking?
you keep talking to them, read.
I just wanna,
Could you cite that law for
Where
me?
did you see that stipulation about $25,000?
I don't know, I just kinda heard about it, so I don't have a document to.
Because if we had that document, we could research it
Yep.
on both ends.
But I just, my gut feeling about this is that I wanna be involved in this.
You wanna be involved in what?
I wanna be, execution of contract authorization in accordance with blank blank to give the town administrator the power to execute contracts on behalf of the select board. I would like to reserve that responsibility if it's mine, and not give you the power to execute for me. That's just how I feel.
That's
For,
fine.
for all, or for contracts that exceed $25,000?
Well, I don't know what the law says, so that, for right now, it'd be all of them, until we figure that out. Until we figure out what the state law says.
Well, is it possible that you can ask the source who gave you this information?
where did you get this
to
No, okay, let's forget about the information, cause I could be totally.
No, but I'm wondering if you saw it in the actual law. Did you see it online at mass.gov? Like, where did you see this?
I did not see it. I did not see it. It's just something that, I don't know if it's true or not, but let's just say it's a $5 contract. If we still have the authority, if the select board, is supposed to approve a $5 contract, I wanna be involved with that. So forget about the 25,000.
So you wanna,
Like, for example, let's just talk about like the roof on the school.
Yep.
The $55,000 bid on the roof on the school. Okay, you accepted that because
Correct.
you have every right to do that.
Yep.
But that would be an example that I think probably that we all could have been involved with before you accepted it.
The only thing that I would suggest to you, and that's perfectly fine, if the board wants to execute all the contracts, I have no issue with that whatsoever. But you will likely have to meet more frequently, because you can't, there are timelines that you have to
Absolutely.
adhere to,
So,
and you can expect your.
this is the act, this is, section 11, number 8, the town administrator shall appoint the chief procurement officer of the town, who shall be responsible for the purchase of all supplies and materials and equipment except books and educational materials for schools and books and other media for libraries, and shall approve the awards of all contracts for all departments of the town. So I believe that the act gives you that. The chief procurement officer may hold other positions with the town consistent with the officer's role here under. Tracy, you serve as a chief procurement officer, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so the act, chief procurement officer, shall approve. Doesn't say may approve, it says shall approve the awards of all contracts for all departments of the town. So,
And Massachusetts general laws supports this act.
That is a
Part of
general
it.
this is a
Part of it.
general
That
law.
was adopted as a.
There's,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Okay.
do we, so
So
is this
she-
a mute point?
It's just for
Because
transparency
we're gonna
as a
vote, but
reminder.
it says we're gonna vote
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, we can vote. We give her the power as a board. You can vote no, but the underlying mass general laws also gives her the power. Like a belt and suspenders approach.
Yeah. I
Doesn't,
get it.
doesn't the no vote say that you're consciously violating the law?
You're opposed to the law.
You're opposed to the law. Okay.
Well,
Any other discussion?
I'm voting on what this says. And
Oh, I agree, we should-
it says to give the town administrator the power to
accordance.
execute,
In accordance with general laws, chapter, in accordance with that
Yeah.
law, we give the board that. We give the town administrator this. Yep.
Do we have to vote on this tonight, or is this something we can do a little bit more in-depth research?
This is
on?
just,
Technically, we don't even have to vote
I
on it.
just wanna know where Dana got his information from before, we jump, I guess, to say.
do you want to say where you got your information from?
I don't,
So even if we hold it, you're not gonna come back with an answer, right?
well, I can do more research too, but I'm not sure it
I'm gonna,
matters.
okay, actually, I'm just gonna call the vote on this. So, because it's
Yeah,
the
but I
underlying one.
mean, for things like, let's say the roof.
The roof where?
When do you have to go out to public bid, what's the figure?
There's all different, depends on supplies and services or
Okay, but then, I mean, if it's a
construction.
significant number, it goes to public, it
Yeah,
has to go out to
usually
bid.
over 35,000.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going out to bid when it hits 35 anyway. And the lowest bidder gets
But
it.
like, this is all of our contracts. This is like with the, one that we're doing, what's the one we're doing right now, Joy, with the,
Municipal aggregation.
yeah, the aggregation. She'll sign the contract with that. And any contract that the town has, she signs, and that's the act. There's a reason why the town of Newbury passed the act. Jeff, you lived through those
Well, I
days.
mean, it's worked pretty well for what, 11, 12 years, it's just that
Longer than that.
otherwise we would be meeting a lot on trivial items that,
Not only meeting on trivial items, there's procurement laws that we don't keep ourselves abreast on all of those things. We hire a town administrator to keep the taxpayers out of trouble. To keep the board out of trouble, to keep the town of Newbury, and it has served the town of Newbury extremely well. When the town administrator first came on board, we were negative free cash. We were on the brink of receivership. The town administrator's position turned us around. And to start taking, first of all, we can't take things away from her based on this act, but it does not serve the town of Newbury at all, serve him well at all to start questioning this. So I'm gonna call a vote on this. All in
I
favor?
have another-
May I ask one more question?
Yes.
The act itself, is that a law that's etched in stone?
Yes, we passed it at town meeting.
So what we're doing tonight is just to bring the attention of everybody on how this particular program works.
Yeah.
Okay.
And moving forward, every January, we should be voting on it again because the board may or may not change the following spring. We have an election every spring. So we should, this is just to keep the board abreast, and like, as Dana's asking questions now, he wasn't aware.
And
Yeah.
one more thing, when we come across one of these things that we have to vote on, and a lot of people, as we sit here, don't understand this particular act, perhaps we could include a little bit of
Well,
a
when you,
sidebar note to kind of educate everybody in our packet.
when you get your packet on the Thursday before our meeting, and you should take the weekend to look it through, you have questions like that about certain things that we're gonna vote on, it's incumbent upon the select board member to reach out to me or the town administrator or somebody to do your homework. so that when we meet as a board, we come together and meet as a board, we're ready to vote. We don't have these discussions and then table everything, or we can't keep the town government moving. So, if you have questions like that, like if you had questions like that, like I think, Leslie, honestly, I think you're good about this one. But if you did have a question on something, please reach out to Joy, reach out to Tracy, reach out to me, and get your answers, your questions answered before we meet and come to the table here, so we can have a discussion, a robust discussion. Okay,
Another question.
yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
in your performance as contract authorization, is there any potential legal exposure if,
We do it incorrectly?
yeah?
Yeah.
And that would pass on to the select board?
No, we passed on to the
No, I'm
taxpayer.
saying if we did not, if we did not let Tracy do the contract authorizations and had the select board do them all, the select board would be legally responsible for any issue with that contract that may come up.
Sure. Sure. And, you know, when we're dealing with big contracts like the Comcast negotiation, for example, you're always very involved in anything that may have, you know, significant community impact, things like that. I make you aware of them. There was one recently, and I can't remember what it was. And I think, Dana, you had even asked me, well, why are we seeing this? Do you remember what it was for? No, but, there's just certain things that if I feel like it's significant enough, I certainly
Well,
will
like the
keep you
community-
apprised of it,
The
but,
community aggregation is one of them.
Right.
We've held multiple meetings on that, and then we actually voted to have you sign with it. Because that benefits we have to post 48 hours for a meeting. If there's something timely, we can't execute a contract if it needs to be signed tomorrow, because we need to post a meeting 48 hours in advance. It's a detriment to the town if we have to, it'll slow everything down, it puts the
Well,
taxpayer at
according
risk.
to what you read, she can do it by law anyway, so I'm just, you know, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not totally, I don't know what the law says, I don't know what the dollars are, but the reason why I bring it up is because, for example, in your report to us, at every board meeting, I wanna say there probably isn't a contract that you have negotiated or signed or accepted a bid or whatever that you don't tell us about, so
Pretty much.
that's not the problem I have. Because I really think that, you know, when we start talking about transparency and stuff, I think we do a pretty good job at letting the taxpayers know where their money's going.
Thank you.
That's
good, thank you.
I just wanna throw that out there. At the same time, if I have the authorization to be involved with the contracts, I would like to be involved.
You don't wanna give up what you were elected to do, I think is what I'm hearing. If that's your authorization, you don't wanna give that up.
Correct.
Wholeheartedly, I agree with you 100%, because we have a role here.
Right.
We have oversight.
Right. And I know
Absolutely.
Leslie's had conversations with me, it's like, all we do is like do liquor licenses.
Pretty much, pretty
You know what I
much.
mean?
We appoint the police chief, the
But
fire
believe it or
chief.
not, we have a very short list.
Very limited, we're very limited at what we do with the liquor licensing authority. We contract with the town administrator, the police and the fire. We appoint boards and committees, we appoint police officers. We set policy. Sometimes we act as the special permit granting authority, not always. Sometimes that's the planning board, but sometimes it rides with the select board. And that's pretty much it. That's all we do. And that's purposefully done to keep us out of trouble. And we hire a professional to run the town of Newbury otherwise.
That's the difference. You either hire a town administrator or town manager to run your town, or you run it.
Right. And none of us are professionals.
Yeah, there was way more work.
And we ran it for a lot of years and we didn't do
See?
that well. That's why Tracy's here.
Right. Okay, any further discussion? All right, All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Okay. Okay, next we have review and approve meeting minutes. We had draft meeting minutes from the December 10th, 2024. I was the one that was, I think I was,
Old business or town administrator.
oh no, yeah. Oh, did I miss you? Sorry, I went right over you. Oh, there we go, old business, town administrator's report. Sorry, Tracy.
That's okay, Madam Chair. A couple of things just to bring to your attention. The DPW is currently looking for plow drivers. We're looking for pickups and 1-tons. They're paying $95 an hour for 9 to 10 foot plows. And we're also in need of loaders and skid steers. So anyone that is interested can contact the DPW office. You may have noticed that we have moved offices. It was a very successful move overall, not without issue certainly, but also not without catastrophe, so that's good. You'll notice new signage in the hallways. It was provided by Bridge Road Sign. That will help people to navigate the office changes that are in place. Inspectional services is now upstairs on the second floor, so we have building, conservation, and health in this suite. So people, the idea that they can kind of do one-stop shopping when they're building, a new residence or doing things of that nature. Planning has joined the select board, DPW, and administration and finance suite on the second floor. And treasurer collector, assessing, and town clerk remain on the first floor with the senior center. Speaking about the first floor suite, they have been without heat since last Thursday. We've had representatives from the HVAC company, vendor working on it, but they're waiting for a part. They've toughed it out for a couple of days, but today we ended up closing the office and asking them to work remotely from home. It was just too cold downstairs. They were working in parkas and gloves and hats. So hopefully, like I said, we're waiting for them to bring a part. If the part is unavailable, RJ Kelly will be bringing him some portable heaters, so at least people can work comfortably in that space until the issue is addressed. Residents should begin to see some brochures appearing in their mailboxes soon, as the Commonwealth of Mass, in partnership with MEMA and the Seabrook Nuclear Power Plant, have mailed their annual Seabrook Station Emergency Preparedness brochures. Residents who don't receive a hard copy can either download one from the PD website or directly from mass.gov. Chief Fisher, who serves as our emergency management director, has asked that any residents who would need any kind of assistance during the emergencies or during an evacuation, such as ambulances, wheelchair, vans, TTY notifications, etc., complete and mail in the request that's on, I guess, the back of the brochure, appears on the back of the brochure. Okay, residents in need of assistance completing the form can go to the Newbury COA, the police department, the fire department, and there'll be people there that'll be happy to help them complete it. The Orchard Street Culvert Project, the culvert is all in. They are now attaching the water main, if it hasn't been already this week. Then they're gonna backfill and put down some temporary paving. Basically, we're running in advance of what their original projections, their estimates were completion by the end of December. At this point in time, they've had to deal with moving a lot more water than anticipated due to the king tides. They had to heat the temporary water lines, had to cover the concrete. I think someone had brought that up here at this meeting. Encountered larger than expected sizes of boulders. The good news is they're hoping to have the roadway opened within the next 2 weeks. The bad news is they'll need to close the roadway again in the spring for a week for final paving, loaming, seeding, because they're very concerned that if they do it now, they'll have problems with it. It's just working at this time of year makes everything a little bit more, a little bit more difficult, so that's where we're at with that. The Central Street Playground, I don't know if any of you have had a chance to see, the site work was completed. They buttoned up the site, and we won't see them again out there probably until April when the equipment's delivered, and they'll work on installing that.
I have a question. I went out there and looked at it, and I think it's where the leaching field is the mound directly behind it. They took they took all of the soil that they used to dig it out, and they laid it on the side of that hill, on the backside. Are they gonna do any additional seeding and loam, and are they gonna?
I think they'll clean it all up in the spring, that's the plan,
Okay.
once they do the
Yeah.
installation of all the equipment.
Yeah, they disturbed the leaching field. Is it the leaching field or part of the septic system? Dave?
Well, one and the same.
No, they're not.
They're synonymous with each
Field, the
other.
tank, the septic is the tank, the leaches are leaches on it too.
It's just, it's the hill
Green
that's
around the
directly
leaching
behind the
leaching
basketball
field is
court.
like a,
It's where the gray water goes.
it's where the gray water goes, but it's not as sturdy as the rest of the land that surrounds it.
Right.
I think I may have mentioned to you already, but the library negotiations have concluded, so we're drafting up a contract for that.
Will that come before us?
So that will be signed by the library trustees, I believe. Under the general laws, they have a little bit more authority.
Yeah, I
But
don't,
I'll have to review, you know what, I may be wrong, I think they contract with the director, so that contract will come before you guys. Yep, they contract with the director only, not with the personnel. So that CBA will be before you. The schoolhouse roof, I mentioned to you that we had a tie, we flipped the coin.
ended up in court.
Resulted in a bid protest hearing before the Attorney General's office. We did receive notification that the bid protest was denied, which was good, so now we can proceed with awarding the contract to JJS, who was the successful coin toss winner.
It's cool to see that government still works on a coin toss.
Yes, it does. The final decision was very favorable to the town and found in our favor on all the protesters' arguments, so that was good. And, thanks to me, Talman and Costa, because in 30 years, that's the first time I've ever seen that happen, so it was completely new to me. And they made a great presentation in front of the AG's office, so we were real pleased with that. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions for you, Tracy. Sure. The surrounding communities all received a grant. We were one of them for, it's not like Green Community, but it was in something of that. We received somewhere around $1,200. Do you have any idea how we're going to spend that money or what we're spending it on?
I'm not sure which grant award it was.
It was,
$1,200?
yeah, it was low.
Would it have come before us to approve?
Usually. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I'll,
Oh, is that the one that Kristen Kasner posted that on
Yes.
Facebook? Yeah, and Ipswich got 12 grand, we got like $1,200, and it had to do with, like recycling and green.
Yeah, green,
I
it was,
saw that too.
recycling
They
for
call it-
bins,
yeah.
for the bin purchases.
Well, no,
It was
you
kind of- no,
can
you-
spend it almost any way you want to, like
Within the category.
composting, I was thinking that once that does come up,
Usually her office reaches out to you,
Yeah.
doesn't she, Tracy, and let
Yeah.
us know when we have,
We've been
We
down
got
a
an
few
email
days
from
with
her,
our
right, or
computers,
was it on
but
Facebook,
she put it on her Facebook page,
that's it.
yeah.
on Kasner's office?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll find out.
And my other question is, reading through the minutes of the Historical Commission, that their dollar account, this was all in their minutes, that the money has been extracted from their account and put into the general account here in town.
So I don't know how much detail you wanna go into this now, I'm happy to tell you what happened. We, at the end of each fiscal year, managers that have money available left over in any of their project accounts, so special article accounts, are required to report to the town accountant in what stage the project is in, what your intended purpose, did you complete the project, you need me to keep this open? if they don't report, or if they report to her that the project is complete, it closes out to free cash. There's no reason to keep carrying balances forward that the project's completed or there's no purpose to move it forward. They were notified of that, didn't provide any response, and it was closed to free cash. It was a balance of a little over $3,000, as I recall. Don't quote me on,
3,500.
how much?
3,400.
3,400.
I was
And
at the meeting.
as I believe I'm accurate, it was leftover money from was it the 275th celebration? It was some celebration you held years and years ago.
My daughter danced the maypole at that one.
That could be. There was money left over in that project account, and that's what it was for, and there was no need to.
But it's been carried over there for years?
It kept getting carried forward, because they'd say, carry it forward, and this year they provided no response, so it was closed out. Did they have an intended purpose for it in
I don't
their
know, that
discussions?
it was
Nothing
just
in the
reported,
minutes.
No.
that's what was reported.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. They just mentioned that normally it would be carried over.
Yep.
But it was taken and put into the general fund.
Yep.
According to them.
Yeah, there is responsibility on the board chairman or committee chairman or department manager to provide rationales for, why the money should be carried forward. One of the things we had talked about, I think at the finance committee level, was should we put some kind of a sunset clause when we actually go to town meeting and the residents vote, $10,000 for this tree planting project. If the town doesn't, do it within 3 years, the money closes back out. Because you really didn't need that money, because you didn't get to doing the project. Most projects are pretty urgent, equipment purchases, things like that, they happen relatively quickly. So that was one option to, instead of us having to chase everybody around and say, hey, you're gonna spend this, are you gonna spend this? To put some kind of a sunset clause in the actual motion of the.
So it doesn't have a never-ending rollover.
At town meeting.
Yep, and if there is a purpose that they need that money for, there's always a remedy for that. They can come and to town meeting and they can say, oh, we didn't get our letter in, this money closed, we need this $3,500 for X. And we can put a special article in and appropriate the money from free cash. So we can always remedy it if there's an error or an omission.
At town meeting.
But it stands how it is for the moment in time.
Yeah, it has to, free cash, it was already closed, the year end was
Right, okay.
closed, free cash was certified. So right now, the only way to get that back would be through a special article at town meeting.
And they would need a intended purpose.
Well, I would imagine someone at town meeting would say, well, what are you gonna do with it? The finance committee certainly would ask.
Yeah, well, if they haven't used it in like 8 years, I think they would need a new purpose.
That's what I mean. Do
Yeah, yeah.
you have any other questions?
I do not. But thank you.
Of course.
Everybody else good? Okay, review and approve meeting minutes, approve draft meeting minutes from December 10th, 2024. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 10th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A motion to sign warrants?
Discussion?
Before, on the warrants, a motion to sign warrants?
No, discussion on the meeting minutes.
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
There was just one typo that I noticed, and it was, my initials were LW instead of LN. But
My
that's it.
apologies. Can you point out where it was for me? If you can, it's okay.
I did mark it.
Oh, I see it, under the Christmas tree chipping event, Ipswich
Yeah.
Ale. Okay.
That's it.
Good catch, Leslie. Okay, motion to sign warrants.
Motion to sign warrants.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion, we have executive session. So, executive session pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A7, to review for release and/or approve the following executive session minutes in accordance with Chapter 30A, Section 22F and G, and to reconvene in open session to vote to release and/or approve said minutes. These are executive session on December 10th, 2024 pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A7, to review for approval of the foregoing executive session minutes in accordance with Chapter 30A, Section 22FG. Roll call vote. Alicia Greco, yes. Leslie Matthews,
Yes.
Jeffrey Walker,
Jeff Walker, yes.
Yes.
Bill DeMayo,
Bill DeMayo, yes.
Dana Packer?
Yes.
Okay, we're in executive session. We already motioned, we already did that.
We did?
Sign
Motion to
warrants.
adjourn.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.